Hi there. We're doing this shorter version that I use for weddings of the Sweet One Prelude. And what I sometimes do with my colleagues is, and we talked about this before, you could have someone playing like the B. It starts to sound like that Bach Gounod piece where they're going like B, C, D, like the piano guys, they'll just keep looping from somewhere back into the beginning. Yeah, but we're not doing that. We're gonna talk through it, because if you do it faster, you kind of need to glomp your fingers down into these more chordal patterns. And when you're doing it slower, feel free to just kind of come in and out. And you see I'm just in my comfortable sitting. Ooh, maybe I was a little stiff. And I just kind of come in and out. So this is a B chord, G, B, D. And then I have the two fingers that happen to be playing simultaneously for the second measure, for that C, E. But every opportunity I have, I release and feel like two fingers are playing separately at the same time, because otherwise it's very taxing on your hand. Even here you can see I could rock within that a little bit. So we're back to this G chord, but without the D in that measure 4. And then the F sharp transports me to the E. So to an E minor triad, E, G, B. If I'm not wanting to think ahead, I do the 3 on the B and then I shift 4 on the high 4 spot, 2, and that's kind of big. Or if I'm thinking ahead, I could go to 3, 2. Oops, don't do that. A lot of times what people will do is they'll shift to their 2, and then they'll just do 1, 4, 3, 1, 3. I don't care. I think it's good to practice all of them. So here's way 1. All normal fingers, 3. Oh yes, I need a C sharp, so I use the open to shift. Way 2, E minor triad. I shift to 3 and then 2, 0, 4, 2. I don't usually do that way, which is why I did the big blunder. If you shift to 2, it's all right underhand. And then the 3 is right here for this 3, 2, 4. It's an A, C sharp, E, G, but there's no E. C sharp, G, A. So you leave out the 5th, which is pretty common in an A7. It's not just an A triad, it's an A7. It's a dominant 7 or an A7 in more pop chord terms. If the 3, 2 is here, 1, and then I could do 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2. But if I'm really not wanting to, I can just go back to, because this foreshadows in the real piece that spot, but we're not really doing that version. We're doing the wedding version. Now, coming back to measure 6, and I did this. If I do this 3, 0, 4, 2, I could do 4 on C sharp and 3 on G. That would be sticking closer to first position, and then 2 would be on F sharp. And we'll just go on. Now I could do 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, but 3, 3, 4 is sometimes a little awkward for people. So right here at the end of measure 7, I put 1 on 3 spot, because 1, again, it's a grabby finger. I don't want to grab with it typically on the cello, but good to know we're very thumb 1 oriented in all the rest of our life. We need to be more pinky oriented for cello. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and I can even kind of roll through it. When I do it with the bow, I won't press as hard as when I do pizzicato. 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Mr. C sharp is back. Hi, implying D major. Oh, and the C sharp sticks for the measure, so it's 1, 4, 3, oh, 1, oh, high 4, 2, 1. Normal 4 resolves to my D major triad. But we had you stopping in measure 8 and looping back to the beginning, which you certainly could do. But this would be the going on if you really want to go on. So we just did measure 7, was this end of 7 into 8. Resolves to D major. Now this G sharp wants to go to A, but it's not a happy A. It's a sad A minor. Okay, so here I just kind of do this kind of a, if I were doing an exercise, that's what I would do. So here's the beginning of that measure at the bottom of the page, G sharp, a G sharp, B, D chord, a diminished triad. I have to extend for the minor third between 2 strings. It's a diminished triad, or you could even think of it as a fully diminished chord because it has the F natural, which is 2 tritones. Ooh, bad guy coming in. Okay, sorry, tangent. So it's a fully diminished chord with 2 tritones, all minor thirds to an A minor. Then I prepare with the F sharp on 3 spot. D sharp, E, F sharp could be a thing. And notice you just kind of leave your hand open, but kind of, it's almost as big as an extension when you're in half position. So because I'm used to doing this 3-2. You could do it 4-3, you could do 3-2, you could do it 2-1. All the 3 ways we make tritones. I'll do it 3-2. Because it's the same 3-2 but a little bigger since it's in first position there, and the B, C resolves in C major. That's why I did F natural. Now I'm back to G with my tritone from G major, F sharp, C again, which was 3 measures ago, and then this would go on in the real Bach suite, but we're going to go to the last 4 measures. Up to 4th position, G, B, D. Just use the open D. Now it's a sus chord. In other words, this would be a D major chord. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. That would be a 4 resolving to a 3D sus chord. Don't worry about that if it's too much for you. Go visit T-Ordia more. In that measure 21 of this version, the G finally resolves to the F sharp, but it's now a tritone for my D7. And then there. I don't think that D should be there. Wait. Yeah, so I think in the real version that D shouldn't be there. I don't know why I wrote that in there. And that's just a D7 in that last measure. It's not really that over the G thing again. There! That really explained it a lot. Do you want to hear the whole thing, I suppose? Oh, now, different people bow it different ways. For the most part, you can come up with your own bowings, because everybody does. When you go and watch tons of people do this, there are zillions of cellists, and everyone will sound different. Let's see how I sound today in a dry room. I slur the first 3 notes to point out the chord. Optional fingering to second position score. I shouldn't have that. Now, some people do it with the whole with all of it slurred. In a Bach edition that I have, is it the Matz edition? They have the Bach score, and then the score that he wrote, his edition, and then it's Anna Magdalena. We don't have Bach's writing, and it's just this really messy score to give you empathy for cellists hundreds of years ago having to read off of manuscript. There you go. Ta-da!